everyone, it's Lindsay with the Handsome Black Man, and it is date night with the Handsome Black Man. My date tonight is Elliott Hulse. I'm so excited. Hi, Elliott.
Hey, what's up, Lindsay?
I'm thrilled to be here with you, as you know already. Elliott, why don't you tell our audience about you a little bit, if they don't already know you?
Cool. I'll keep it as short as I can, but it's kind of a long story. My parents are from Belize. Both my parents are from Belize.
Oh, nice.
And Belize is an interesting country because obviously it's a part of the world where there were natives, Native Americans, Mayas in particular, Mayans. And the Europeans that came into the Americas came and they also brought their African slaves. And and Belize is one of those countries that is literally like the melting pot of most of Central or what they would call the Caribbean. It's considered a Caribbean country, and you end up with people that look like me, but don't speak Spanish. So it's like you look kind of like you could be Puerto Rican, but you look kind of black too, and you got blue eyes, and it's like, well, what's actually going on there?
Right.
What's happening is I'm a byproduct of European imperialism, I guess you could say. Aren't we all a product
I was
somehow?
going to say, are we all in some way a product of that?
So I'm the genetic expression of what happened with that. So
I love
my parents went to move to the United States, Brooklyn, and they got married. And my mom's little brother was kind of tagging along at the time with my dad and my mom. He was still a bit young, but obviously older than me. My parents moved to Long Island, and I grew up in a home where it was my dad, my mom, and my mom's little brother. And he was coming from the country.
Right.
He grew up literally swinging from vines and climbing coconut trees and
Wow.
swimming in rivers and like living like he didn't wear shoes. None of my parents didn't wear shoes. They wore shoes when they came here.
Right.
My dad said he had one pair of shoes that he wore when they went to church on Sunday, and that like barely ever happened. So.
Right.
They still had this very primal strength to them that wasn't industrialized to any great degree. They didn't eat what we call food. My dad still like spits out most of the stuff people give him because like, yeah, this is not food. This is not food. They grew up eating stuff from the earth.
Right.
So the DNA is hearty. Strong mind, strong body, and I'd watch my uncle, it must have been about 25 years old. He would do backflips, and he would break bricks with his hands, and he would walk on his hands, and he was just a fire keg. He had a lot of energy, and he would do bodybuilding shows, and he would do gymnastics and martial arts. I mean, the guy was a phenomenal athlete and all around just a cool super character to watch when you're a kid. And he would teach me how to do the same thing. So I'm 4 years old, and he's teaching me how to work out, basically.
Right.
I'm doing push-ups and sit-ups and stuff. And basically, when I went to school, I was like the only kid doing this. All the other kids, they didn't even know what a push-up was.
They were swinging on swings, and
yeah. So that turned into my uncle mentoring me through high school and teaching me how to weight train with barbells. And I won a football scholarship because of my athleticism and strength training with him. And went on to study exercise physiology in grad school and took several internships, apprenticeships, and am doing what I'm doing today to share my ideas, experiences, and service as a strength coach. I teach people how to get stronger.
And you're a strong man. You're like a champion, aren't you?
I'm a strong man and a strong man.
Yeah.
I'm just messing.
That's awesome.
No, well, I competed. Yeah, I did compete in the sport of strongman, and I could take the story further because my central message is actually found in that story. I decided that I wanted to become as strong as I could. I was self-identified with my body.
Right.
We were talking about black men before and how the black man's body is strong. It's more animal, and I feel that within me. That's a part of the African DNA in me, and I can get real big, real strong, and vital easily. So I figured I'm going to push this to its limits. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get as strong as I possibly can because I'm genetically gifted to do so. And I went really, really, really far naturally. And that means without the use of anabolic steroids.
Right.
And I became pro and everything, but I wanted to be like, I was ready to be number one in all of the country.
Right.
So I was like, look, I got to do what I got to do. And I took that one step. So for a few months, I started using steroids and destroyed my body, popped my bicep, and the whole thing just deflated. And it caused me to reflect on this question of what is real strength?
Yeah.
What is real strength? And it's taken me a few years, but I've boiled it down to what, in my opinion, and what I share with my followers and readers and viewers is the 4 layers of strength. There are 4 layers, and I use that term layers because there are superficial versions of strength, and then there are deep versions of strength, but they all support one another, and they're all an expression of the deeper layers.
Right.
The most superficial strength is physical strength, and it's the most obvious one. It's the muscles that we have, our ability to run, jump, lift a lot of weight. But one layer below that, and that's all tied together, the entire thing is tied together with your nervous system, but one layer right below that is physiological strength. That's what's happening with your hormones and your digestive tract, your heart health. What's going on inside, viscera, organs. Mm-hmm. A layer right below, deeper than that, is what I call energetic strength. And that's really your mental, emotional, spiritual, subtle strength. It's tied to the autonomic nervous system.
Right.
It's a very intelligent power that manifests itself physically without us having to do it. Mm-hmm. It beats our heart. It grows a baby within.
Right.
And our ability to cultivate and strengthen that layer of our strength is the root through which the other layers of strength come. If you're not spiritually strong, you're not mentally, emotionally strong, look, you're really not going to reach your physiological or your physical potential. It starts at the core. It starts at the energetic level. And the 4th layer is the one that you're obviously working to magnify right now and strengthen and serve people through, which is what I call presentable strength. And it's a play on words because I say presentable in one way, we're presenting ourselves to the world through the magnificent technology we have available to us,
right.
Videos and blogs and the internet, but also what kind of present are you giving the world? What are you leaving behind which is going to be resourceful to the generation you're in, the generations that you're pulling up behind you? Mm-hmm. How are you serving others? Because ultimately we all die.
Right.
And what kind of legacy? Who have you served? Right. Is going to be really the defining question of your life. So that's it. I boiled it down to those 4, and my central message is to become the strongest version of yourself, which means embodying, or at least, because it's always a process. Recognize the journey of it, and be with that journey, and be aware while you're on that journey of becoming the strongest version of yourself.
Yeah, which I love. I mean, I've been watching you for months and months and months. I wish I'd been watching you, in 2009 or 2008, whenever you started, because just so you can see the journey now. But you have clearly grown as a person, and I just love your candor with just everything that's happening in your life, and from talking about your use of steroids and just your openness with your family and all that stuff. You are, I would actually go so far as to say, the most authentic personality on all of YouTube. You're intense. I love that you make reference to your physical strength, and it is in your DNA. I believe that, but you're also wildly intelligent. Like it's almost frightening how smart you are. Like in the middle of you no, really, like in the middle of you talking about some method on how to get the V in your stomach or whatever, you like throw out an Aristotle, and it's like, where does this guy, how does he come up with this stuff? So I think you're so authentic and so intense and so passionate, and it's just ridiculously amazing. But what do you think has been the core attribute for your incredible success on YouTube? I mean, I can talk about Strength Camp and all those things, but like, why do you think you have been so incredibly successful on YouTube when there are so many other bodybuilders, so many other motivational type of personalities out there? What do you think makes you different? What do you attribute your success to?
Courage. It's courage.
Yeah.
What you see and what you're describing me as is in all of us. there's a genius in all of us. There is, and it doesn't look the same. Nobody's genius looks the same, but
Right.
there's a genius in there, and it's our life. It's our life's mission to look for, discover, and strengthen that genius. And that's the first courage you have to have is to accept that you're powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of courage to look in the mirror. I mean, if you think that sounds passe, go look in the mirror and look at yourself in the face in the mirror and point at yourself and say, "You are powerful. You are strong. You can do it." That takes courage just to do that. You'll feel resistance in your body. You know, part of you might. There's going to be what's called cognitive dissonance.
Oh,
A
this
part
is
of you
silly.
like,
This is weird.
yeah. Oh, who am I? I'm too
Yeah.
arrogant. Why should I be so self-centered? Why should or be silly? You know, the other thing is you're going to giggle, you laugh, and it's like, oh, this is silly. Well, you know what that is? That's the real you, the powerful you, bumping up against that conditioned you, the one that was told you're not good enough, you're not smart enough. How dare you? Why don't you? If you take, then you're taking away from someone else. You know, this whole idea of scarcity and smallness that we're taught very young. You know, for some reason, I don't know, maybe I was too stupid to grasp the concept or too rebellious to listen to it, but it just never stuck with me. You know, I owe some of it also to, I used the term DNA before because my father is this way, but it's an attitude that, you know, jungle people have. My parents, they're from a third world country.
Right.
My dad has this arrogant, like masterful attitude about himself, and it came off. It rubbed off on me, and it's basically, I don't give a shit what anyone else thinks, anyone says. This is what's happening in here, and I'm putting it out there. Do you see?
Yeah.
It's an attitude. It's not a gift. It's not magical.
Mm-hmm.
It's merely the courage to just do it.
Right.
Do you? I mean, if that's the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows what they need to do. Everyone can feel their power inside. It's in there, even if it's buried under layers and layers and layers of unresourceful thoughts and conditioning. There's still a flickering flame inside even the lowest self-esteem person that feels, I'm worthy. Otherwise, you would have taken your life already.
Right.
I'm worthy of living. I'm good. And if you slowly fan that flame, and what it will do is it will cast off the layers of unresourceful thinking. But that, again, takes the number one character virtue, which is courage.
Wow. Okay. What does struggle mean to you?
Struggle is a symptom of your growth. It's the outward manifestation of that cognitive dissonance. That it's breaking eggs so that you can create an omelet. Oh, these eggs, they're so beautiful. Look at them. Oh, they're so smooth, and these are wonderful, and they're so pretty in the basket. Yeah, but you got to break those suckers so that you can make an omelet. Struggle is, well, I got to break this egg. Boom. It's uncomfortable to break that egg. It's when you experience, and I'm talking intrinsic struggle.
Right.
Yeah, extrinsic world is a manifestation of what's happening intrinsically. For me, it's always your subjective experience that matters first. But, because you could say, well, there's a struggle for freedom, there's a struggle for liberty, there's a struggle for independence. But you know what? Wait a second. First, what's going on in here? Because have you ever read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor A. Frankl?
Yeah.
He was a Holocaust survivor. And I guess that's probably the most popular current depiction of slavery
Right.
in our day and age, is because they still have pictures and whatnot of it. And the man literally was like stripped from his home, from his family, stripped naked and thrown in concentration camps.
Right.
And yet he found peace. I mean, we're stressed out because, there's too much taxes and there's inflation and we don't have enough money for our gas. It was like, wait a second. They took his clothes away, killed his family, and put him in a camp where he had to dig holes and they didn't feed him. And he was happy. And he writes an entire book about the psychological processes that allowed him to find that happiness.
Wow.
So I don't remember the question.
Struggle. What does struggle mean to you?
Struggle. So struggle, right. He didn't experience the type of struggle in a concentration camp that some of us think we're experiencing extrinsically because we don't have, a gas money, whatever the case may be, So that's extrinsic, but intrinsically, you're gonna notice it as depression. You're gonna notice it as anxiety. You're gonna notice it as insomnia. You're gonna notice it as physical, bodily manifestations of this process of division, this process of growth. When I say division, I mean like cellular division. You're becoming more. You're growing, and it's uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. Do you remember? Did you study in high school in biology? They taught you cellular division.
Yeah, meiosis and all that stuff.
Say it again.
Meiosis.
Yeah.
Meiosis.
Well, so cellular division is basically where there's a cell that becomes two cells, and there's a process by which it goes through what they call catharsis.
Right.
And inside the cell, there's it's first it's a cool cell, and then it just starts bubbling inside, and all of a sudden it goes through cellular division, where it just goes, and then it becomes two.
Right.
And now, because it's bigger, there's two of them now, it can handle more catharsis.
Right.
Until those two, and then it becomes 4, and then it becomes 8, and then it becomes 16.
Right.
It's growth. But that growth doesn't happen unless there's wiggliness.
Some struggle, right.
Struggle. So struggle, embrace. Not only embrace it, I say call it on, because when the struggle comes, that means, guess what? Breakthrough. Breakthrough's coming. I'm growing up.
Love it. What does manhood mean to you?
It's a good question. All of the forms that we're presented to help us identify what we should be in regards to sex, in regards to nationality, in regards to race, in regards to religion, are all manifestations of man. We've created these things.
Right.
We created ideas about what you should be associated with. Oh, you're a man. Well, that's associated with puppy dog, snakes and tails and puppy dog tails.
Yeah,
and
the color blue and football and blah. Yeah.
Right. So these are all associations of the mind. They have nothing to do with true sexuality. Right? The same thing with I made a video not too long ago that caught some heat, but I think people that understood me understood what I was saying, where a young man was trying to force his girlfriend to work out.
I love you in that video. Oh, and that was the video that made me send the email for this interview.
Okay.
I was just talking about that video. Anyway, go ahead. You're the man. That's all I had to say. I feel like everyone needs to think like you.
Yeah, if everybody thought like me, it'd be a weird place. I think too much. In that video, I'm basically trying to share the idea that the Barbie doll look is just an idea.
Right.
It's not real sexuality. In fact, it's very far from sexuality, because the image is so gauntly and so reduced of maturity. And in women, maturity in a woman is, and this might not be a popular answer, but is in the ability to bear children.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Right. And that is truly sexual, because when a man looks at a woman and he sees the fullness associated with, I can place a seed in there and it will take. He's drawn naturally. This is where our animal instinct, this is where when we're listening to our heart and our balls, it draws. When you see a figure of a woman with a boy's hip,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the thin little hip, and then a belly that looks like it's sunk in. There's no womb, there's no sexuality there. It's an
Mm-hmm.
empty womb.
Mm-hmm.
It's a barren. It's a child with boobs.
Mm-hmm.
It's prepubescent. It's almost like pedophilia to think that that's sexual. It's like that looks like a 7-year-old girl's body is stretched out with boobs on it.
Right.
It's alien. It's
Right.
pure alien. It's purely a figment of our imaginations. And I use that term lightly because it's more of a figment of someone else's imagination that they've imprinted upon ours.
Right.
If you listen to your balls, and I use that term as a reference
Which
to
I
the
love.
right, because it doesn't mean you have to have testicles.
Right.
It means you're listening to your sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
When I say breathe into your balls, I'm saying own your sexuality.
Or your first chakra, whichever.
Right. You're grounding yourself.
Your root, yeah.
Your roots. So when you ask me what masculinity is, what manhood is, it has nothing to do with the figments that have been created for us to associate manhood with.
Right.
Manhood means you've got balls. You own your sexuality. And if you really own your sexuality, then the way you express it, the things that you like, the things that you're drawn to, the things that you create are going to be like nothing you've ever seen before because they come straight from your gut.
Right.
Right? So manliness in my mind is synonymous with sexuality. And when you say sexuality, true sexuality is never just yin and no yang, or yang and no yin. Just like there's no day without night.
Mm-hmm.
There's no sun without earth, or earth without sun. Do you see? So maleness is male femaleness. Maleness is sexuality. Does that all make sense, or am I?
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Right? So it's embodying sexuality. So in my journey, I've found that the more male I've become, the more female I've become. I did a video. Literally at 9:00 p.m. While I was waiting for you, I uploaded a video, so you can go watch it right now. It's about pain between the shoulder blades. A guy has pain between his shoulder blades,
Right.
but I told him that he was heartbroken. And he probably didn't want to hear that. He wants to know, like, what exercise do I do to stretch this out? And here Elliott Hulse comes with, look, bro, you're heartbroken and you need to cry. And then I end the video, and of course I'm harsh with my words and stuff. And basically at the end of my video, I was like, and guess what? You can call Elliott Hulse a bitch because that's where I get my strength. And I really mean it. And I use that term bitch just because I'm trying to get a rise out of people. It's not in a derogatory way.
Right.
It's in a way to get a rise out of you.
Right.
But what I'm inviting men to recognize is that the more female I become, the more male I become.
Right.
There's a really good metaphor for this, and you could use this for many different areas in your life, where and they use it often in like the Eastern philosophies and religions, where a bamboo. I don't think there's any plant on earth that represents the phallic symbol better than the bamboo, right? What is it? One long dick coming out of the ground, right? I mean, it just
Right.
shoots right, and it's just like this. Doesn't come any, there's not too many that just shoot straight up like the
Just
bamboo.
anything else, right.
Bamboo can be like 7, 8, 9, 10 feet tall, right?
Right.
The bamboo doesn't grow that tall for 7 years. You have to you plant the bamboo plant and it stays like this for 7 years. You know what it's doing for 7 years?
You can put them in your bathroom. They're nice.
Huh? Yeah, they look cute, right? Because you know it's going to stay like this. And if you keep it in a little jar, it's not going to grow. But in the wild, if you put it there, it stays like that for 7 years. You know what it's doing? It's growing an elaborate root system. It's going down. It's being invaginated. It's being feminine. Earth is feminine. Earth is associated with femaleness.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you call your woman your earth.
Right.
There's a reason why, because it's very feminine. You go into it. And that plant that grows as tall as it does not do so until it grows as deep as it can.
Wow.
So the more feminine, the more masculine.
Was not expecting that. That's awesome. Okay, so this is my last question. What advice do you have for young black men coming up behind you, and or what advice did you receive from a black man that helped you to become the man you are today? You can answer one or both. You can answer either, or you can answer either of them, or you can answer both of them. So what advice do you have for young black men? What advice did a black man give you that helped you to become who you are today?
Well, here's my advice. And this is my advice, and I'm centering it on the avatar of a black boy.
Right.
15, 19,
Yeah.
25.
Yeah.
But this is a central message. This is a central principle for life. This is a principle for everyone in every area of your life. So understand the potency of this. And that's how this thing works. There's a lot of bullshit in our lives that's piled on us, but there are a handful of principles. Bruce Lee would say, get rid of all you don't need and keep the essentials. Get rid of everything. This is a central message. Bob Marley once put it this way. He said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves will free our minds. And Bob Marley says that in Exodus, I think that's the name of the song, or Freedom Song. Freedom Song says, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Mental slavery, right? And that mental slavery is you would, because of the language of it, you would think that someone's enslaving you, right? Man, the man's got me. The man's shackled me, holding me down. Look, we're all being held down. I mean, the taxes are ridiculous. Inflation is ridiculous. We live in an economic system, in an economic machine. We're nothing but batteries for this matrix. It's all of us. But you don't have to accept that that's the story you want to tell yourself about it.
Right.
You emancipate yourself from mental slavery by choosing every single day who you want to be. You make that choice every single day, and the more you can detach from what TV tells you should be, right? I mean, we don't watch TV. We had a big TV. My son threw a truck at it, and it broke. And I was like, that's it. We're done with TV. What the music you listen to is telling you should be, what the news programming is telling you should be, what the sitcoms you watch are telling you should be, what the movies you watch are telling you should be. There's way too much noise. There's way too much people telling you what you should be.
Right.
Right? We were just talking about black fathers and black men, and Homer Simpson, who was an avatar for the modern man.
Right. When
you watch those characters, you identify with them. We can't help it. We've learned through stories as a race of human beings on this planet. It was only just a few generations ago where we would sit around and the patriarchs and matriarchs of the tribe would tell stories. Right. We're still very attached to avatars and I forget the other term, but basically like embodiments of ideas in a human form.
Right.
And I wish I could remember what you call them. It doesn't matter. But when we see these characters on television, when we see these characters in the movies, when we hear them talking to us through our music, so on and so forth, we're identifying with them. We're being told that we've got to choose. We've got to be one of these characters. And the amount of characters with a black face in modern contemporary Western society
is nil.
They're usually evil. Just watch Disney movies.
Yeah.
Why are all the bad guys dark? Mm-hmm. Dark is associated with evil, bad, right? Feminine. Dark is associated with softness, earth. It's so ever-pervading because the female also takes a very lowly position in the society. Mm-hmm. So to be a black and a woman, it's dark and it's dark. The earth is dark. Mm-hmm. Femininity is dark. And your skin color is dark. Mm-hmm. Don't let those stories into your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to. You can't not have. You can't just have an opinion about it and say, "Oh, I don't believe that." You have to cut yourself off completely. Don't
Mm-hmm.
watch television programming. Don't listen to the music. Don't watch the movies because they're brainwashing the shit out of you. They're making you believe that you're something that you're not.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you could find yourself, the only way you could emancipate yourself from mental slavery is to focus your mind on what you want to become only. You find out what you want to become. And the best way to find that is to go in. We like to say, I'm being myself. A lot of young people especially, I'm just being myself. Well, then why do you have on the style of clothes like everybody else?
Right.
I remember being a teenager like, no, Mom, I'm just trying to be myself. But meanwhile, no, I'm trying
trying to
to be
be
like
like
everybody
my
else.
4 friends, right?
Right. And why do you guys all look the same if you're just trying to be yourself? You're not trying to be yourself.
Right.
It's the wrong way to try to find yourself. What you're doing to try to find yourself is you're looking at everybody else. You might think that because you're expressing yourself differently than the generation before, that somehow you're new, you're doing something fresh and exciting, but you're not. You're following the same bullshit pattern that the rest of them are following. And if you look at who they're following bad characters, characters that aren't going to support you,
Right.
characters that are not resourceful for a truly self-actualized person. And that's what you want. You want peace of heart. You want peace of mind. The only way you find that, the only place you find that is in here. Is that helpful? I mean, I'm pretty poetic, so I hope that it could be grasped and utilized. But the point is, the most tangible point is to trust yourself and ignore everyone else.
Right.
The less you see about what's going on in society, now that they got bombs going off at these places, you don't need to know. You just don't need to know.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you're cold-hearted. It doesn't mean you're detached. It means you're busy.
Yeah.
I'm building me because my central message is become the strongest version of yourself and then inspire others.
Right.
So the most selfless thing you can do is to grow your own strength, because as you grow, others can't help but to grow along with you.
Elliott, this is like so far beyond anything I could have like even like thought of. That's beautiful, really. Wow. I almost want to be feminine and cry, but I'm not going to.
It's all right. You gotta let go.
Okay. No, that was really awesome. Really. I don't even know. See, now we have to segue into the fun part. I don't even want to go there, but
Hey, I could be fun too.
All right. So now we're just gonna we are officially in date night. I'm gonna ask you some of my favorite questions. Some of my favorite date night questions. Feel free to answer them however you like, and as many as you like. I've kind of set the mood. I've got flowers popping off in the back, got a candle, and I've got my Elliott Hulse coconut drink that I made in honor of you. Actually, Leia made it. My roommate, she made it, but it's for you. Okay, so I'm going to ask you between 3 and 5 questions. The first one is, if you were an alien and you could abduct anyone from any time period, past or present, who would you abduct and why?
So you're gonna find out just how self-centered I actually am. I would, I would go back to my own past lives. I'd go back to multiple past lives and figure out how the hell I got to be the way I am. I want to know who I was before this that brought all this karma with me. What did that guy do? So I would go and I would abduct him and I'd be like, I wouldn't change a thing. I'd just watch him and be like, so that's why I'm that way. I would just be fascinated to know what Elliott Hulse in 2, 3, or 4 past lives ago was doing. Was I like a soldier in the military? Was I a king? Was I a joker? Was I a homeless man? What was he doing?
I bet you were a Spartan. Like you just, to me, you seem like that guy that would kick the guy into the hole. Like that's just what you seem like to me.
Yeah, it'd be fascinating to know.
Yeah. Okay. What? I think I know the answer to this, but what kind of kid were you in high school?
In high school, I think we're all looking for ourselves in high school. You know, that's a time of life where we're detaching from the family. You know, we're not babies anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
the world is preparing us to go out, and we're really forced to like choose. Well, who are you going to be? That's when they start asking you,
Right.
what are you going to do when you grow up? Right? That's when that question becomes serious. When you ask a 4-year-old, it's like, we're just messing with you. You
I'll be
still
a
a baby.
fireman.
Yeah, right. I'll be an astronaut. Oh, that's so cute. You do that what you want.
Right.
But when you get to high school and you start talking like that, I want to be an astronaut. They start looking at you like, all right, look, you ain't gonna be no fucking astronaut.
You just failed chemistry and geometry. No.
So being like in high school, I was never good at in school. I was a good athlete, so I really believed that I was gonna be like NFL. Like that was basically my thought was like I'm not really good for anything else.
Right.
So and I was very good at football. So I figured like, well, I'm a jock. I'm going to play football, and I identified with that. You know.
Hmm. Um, excluding your own, what website or whose YouTube channel do you spend the most time on?
Hmm. To be honest, I don't. I as strange as it sounds, that like I live my life online. I don't really frequent too many other places. I read a lot of books.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, but I can't say that there's a YouTube channel or there's a blog that I often frequent. And I don't say that like I'm arrogant, like I'm too good for everybody. It's just,
Right.
you know, quite frankly, this medium of the internet is brand new,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost like the Wild West.
Mm.
You know, and what happened in the Wild West when they all went west because everybody's trying to snatch up land and they were trying to get gold. Everybody's trying to do their thing. They're not too worried. They're not looking at what other people are doing.
Right.
They're scrambling. And I'm in full scramble mode right now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
plotting my piece of land, and, and all my energy is focused on that.
All right. That's great. If you could use only 5 words, either individual words or consecutive words in a sentence, to describe yourself, what would they be?
Oh, man. Well,
Remember, either a sentence or individual words. Doesn't matter, but it has to be only 5 words.
pure
Hmm.
is the first one that I'll offer. And I say pure, of course I'm a poet, so I'm not just going to give you the answer. I got to give you a reason why I got the answer. I say pure because my intent is pure. And that's the most important thing. My actions aren't always pure. What happens isn't always pure, but my intention is always pure.
Right.
And I genuinely want to give my heart. I genuinely want to see people stronger. I glow. I'm in my river when I see someone else who's been uplifted, especially out of a hard place because of something I said or something I did for them. I thrive on that. And like I said, it's a pureness of intent because I'm not perfect and far, far, far from it. And it's an ideal that I strive for intrinsically is that pureness.
Mm-hmm.
Courage would be the next one, and I spoke so much about courage before, and I didn't put it first because courage in the hands of a tyrant is not a virtue.
Wow, Elliott.
You see, so the intent had to be right first. Your intent has to be right. I told you before to have courage, and a lot of people misunderstand when I say that because then they think, oh, well, then I'm just gonna go do whatever I want to do.
Right.
Like, well, that's not exactly what I'm saying. And if you have really followed my message this long, you know that it's about a pureness of intent. And I always quote Ralph Waldo Emerson and say that every action is measured by the sentiment from which it proceeds, which basically means where you coming from. You know, where you coming from? You coming from a place of anger and greed, fear, frustration, anxiety, then I don't care how much courage you have. If you have a lot, I hope you don't have a lot of courage because you're just going to go hurt people and hurt yourself.
Right.
But you need that courage. If your intention is pure, you just got to build some balls and do your thing. Do what you have to do, regardless of what it may turn out to look like. And I don't think, and it would be unfair for me, to myself and to you, for me to like even go any further. I think those are the only two. If I gave you 5, I'd be bullshitting. I'd be making stuff up.
I love that. That's great. No, because that's great. Wow. And those are huge. You kind of answered this already, but what brings you joy?
The joy is a bodily emotion, but joy happens in our belly. It happens in our bodies. Joy is, we use that term feeling, but to describe a lot of the concepts that we use to navigate life. But joy is one of those that's a true feeling. You feel joy. Like when you see a kid that's happy and he's jumping up and down, and like because somebody's going to give him a toy or whatever the case. That's, you see joy happening in that, and I get that, and it's few and far between, and I'm only grateful for the fact that I have experienced it after being a child. Because when we were children, we all experienced joy.
Right.
I mean, there are bundles of joy, not just for us, but like they don't even know it. They are swimming in joy.
Right.
All their life is joy. Then slowly we start layering bullshit on top of them, and now you look in their face and it's like, aren't you happy? And they're like, it usually happens around 7, 8 years old. Probably about 7 years old, they start getting like this look on their face. And it's like, well, of course they're not happy. You're making them go to school and sit down and like learn math and giving them all these responsibilities. No, they're not joyful anymore. When he was 4 years old, he was joyful. So joy is a going back to that innocence that allows full bodily experience. Feel it. And for an adult, for us to feel joy in our bodies, we've got to have the pureness of intent in doing the thing. And that's why I put that there, number one. Pureness of intent to do what's happening in our body. Just letting go. And when we let go to what's happening in our body, we end up being artists and creating things and doing things that are new, that are creative. Letting go also is what is needed to fall in love, and it's also the way to orgasm. You can't force an orgasm. Women know this. That's why you guys don't have as many as we do. We just force it out.
Speak
you
for
guys
yourself,
have to,
psych.
well, I think they said like 60% of women has never orgasm, and it's a shame because that's what we need. We need more orgasm. We need more joy in our lives. But it all comes from a letting go. And it's a hard place to get to. It's a hard place to get to let go. I've experienced it only a few times in my adult life. And it comes from those who are closest with you. It comes from intimate moments with my wife and my children. And anybody who's honest, and anybody, when I say honest, I don't mean that you don't want to be honest, but anybody who feels their bodies, anybody who knows how to go in, will experience the same thing when they give themselves to another, to your wife, your husband, your children. And in that complete letting go, that's when joy will flood.
Love it. Do you have any favorite cheesy pickup lines? I don't know if you had to use any since you and your wife have been together since you were like munchkins, but there has to be one.
Weird pickup lines. I know how to flirt, but I don't really know if I got any pickup lines. I think here's why pickup. See, if I'm being you got me today in a very poetic mood. Here's why pickup lines will get you in trouble. You shouldn't have pickup lines because sexuality and relationship happens before sex, and sex is a manifestation of spontaneity. right? Sex is all about spontaneity. And this, between the sexes, this is what's going on. It's like,
Mhm.
how can we get to this place where we could just both let go in each other, right?
Mhm.
We're physically letting go with each other.
Right.
That's like true orgastic, beautiful release. If you begin that process with calculated shit, what's this tricky line that I can use to manipulate and get this chick? Then the whole thing is heady.
Right.
So the way I approach everything, and you mentioned that I saw the notes that Colleen wrote about, what you knew about my channel and stuff. You realize that everything I do is spontaneous.
Right.
It's coming right from the gut.
Yeah.
So my pickup line, you find out when I use it.
Oh, that's right.
We'll find out. That's when I'll find out too. I'll say, hey, that was all right.
All right. Okay, I have two more questions. What's one question that you wish an interviewer would ask you that no one has asked you? What's one question that you wish someone would ask you?
So that's an interesting question. You caught me in an interesting mood today. So I would be fascinated to hear the question and then engage in the process of being asked, moving forward, and being asked for a hug.
Aw.
Right? So,
Huh.
because, hey, that's where all of our neurosis comes from, is the tightness in our bodies that don't allow us to hug each other.
Right.
You hug somebody, it's like this, oh, it's night, and your hips are over here, and you just like,
I hate those. Those are
and
church
then it's like,
hugs.
you're patting each other's backs, oh, we're hugging, we're hugging. Somebody asked me, and they're like, they really want to know what's going on. And they're like, Elliott, I have a hug. I would just be fascinated to know what kind of hug that's going to be.
I
You know,
love this answer.
do you love me? Do you really want to hug me, or you just want to like, this is cute, this is nice, right? Because it's connections, it's
Yeah.
connections, and for someone to ask you that question, there's an intimacy associated with it that is very rare, especially if it's not with sexual intent. It's like, look, basically the person saying, "Hey, Elliot, can I love you?"
Mm.
Right? Without sexual intent, can
Right.
I just love you? And that's always a fascinating adventure to go down with another person. So,
Whoa. Okay. I don't even want to ask my last question. I'm done.
I wore you out. I know.
I love it. No, this is like the best. If you were crowned king of the world, what would be your first decree?
My mandate would be, and I would work to create all the structures necessary to infiltrate the minds, the hearts, and the bodies of every individual on earth, my kingdom, to know that you are also a king.
You are ridiculous.
I
That's you are ridiculous. Awesome. Okay, so we've reached the end. This is our rapid fire. Are you ready for rapid fire?
Sure, this is fun. Yeah,
I'm
let's go.
excited. You're like, yeah. Okay, here we go. Don't think. You can only say one or the other, and that's it.
Oh man, I have to think. I'm a
Nope,
thinker.
nope, nope. I will cut you off. You
All
have
right, let's
no
go.
thinking, just the first thing that comes out.
All right.
Strawberry or grape jelly?
Oh, strawberry.
Beyonce or Rihanna?
Who?
I don't like you.
That's my first answer. Gotta take it.
Lowry's or Old Bay seasoning?
Say it again.
Lowry's or Old Bay seasoning?
Old Bay seasoning.
Apollonia or Sheila E?
Sheila E.
Boxers or briefs?
Briefs.
Walk or bike?
Walk.
Foxy Brown or Foxy Cleopatra?
Who's Foxy Cleopatra?
I can't with you.
No, that because my first girlfriend, her name was Cleopatra, so that brings back memories.
Foxy Cleopatra, Austin Powers? Beyonce?
Oh, from the movie? Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna go with Cleopatra because Cleopatra was when I was in sixth grade. She's my first girlfriend.
Okay.
But look, I'm so detached. I told you I don't watch TV.
I got
I
you.
wasn't lying when I said that.
I love it. Honey Rider or Pussy Galore?
You see?
Bond.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
James Bond? Oh, you are the worst.
Hey, Pussy Galore just sounds good, so
Oh, see.
I don't know who it is, but it sounds better.
Sports car or pickup truck?
Pickup truck.
Body wash or bar soap?
Bar soap.
Facebook or Twitter?
Facebook.
Slow and steady wins the race or get her done?
Get her done.
You're gonna hate this question. Atlanta Housewives or Love and Basketball?
Love and Basketball is a movie I saw is a poetry with Janet Jackson.
No! It's on VH1. I'm done with you. Tyler Perry or Spike Lee?
Spike Lee.
Chucks or Jordans?
Chucks.
Necktie or bow tie?
Neither.
Basketball or football?
Football.
Natural hair or relaxed hair?
Natural.
Wait till I show you what's under here. Psych. Dustbuster or vacuum?
Vacuum.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
PC or Mac?
Mac.
Colored or white Christmas lights?
Colors.
Hand washed or dishwasher dishes?
Dishwasher.
Daytime or nighttime?
Daytime.
Springtime or fall?
Fall.
Angela Davis or Mumia Abu-Jamal?
Andrea Davis. I'm supposed to know these people, right?
You better.
She sounds familiar. Huh?
Political prisoners. I'm done with you, Elliott.
Look, even like I tell you, I'm trapped in my own head. I'm living in here. Like it's always whatever's happening here. I don't see TV. I don't. Sorry. Sorry to disappoint.
You're good. This is the end of our interview. That was like so beyond awesome. Thank you so much for being my date for tonight. How can we find you if we wanted to find you?
Easiest thing is on Facebook, I suppose, or YouTube. I make tons of channels. So if you just go to YouTube, I make a lot of videos. Strength Camp is my channel.
Yep.
Non-job. Yeah, I got a couple of them, but you'll find them all if you just.
Yeah, non-job, Strength Camp, Elliott Hulse. Yeah, at least 3, I think.
Yeah.
When are you gonna do something for the girls?
Listen, I literally just told you that I'm a woman. I literally just told you that I am more feminine than I've ever been, and here's what I'm experiencing. Funny, I don't have to do anything for the women for them to come. More women are coming than ever before.
Yeah.
I don't have to reach out for them because they sense what I'm doing, and the ones that are aware that can feel what I'm doing, they're coming. So I don't have to do anything for the women.
Mm-hmm.
But I say that I don't have to do anything, but what I'm already doing is bringing the right type of women around. Do you see?
Well, all I'm saying is I want to know how to have a flat belly, and you need to have a tip or two for a lady or two to do that. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I wouldn't mess with you like that. I would say, look, the feminine body is an embodied body, is a full body. So to say like you need to flatten your abs for a woman in particular, to me is foolish. Mm-hmm. I want to see that you can carry a roundness. Do you see? Like when with a woman, to me, I'm thinking with my balls. I'm not thinking with my head. I'm thinking with what my body's experiences.
Then you need to call a few of your male friends that live in Jersey and let them know that I'm round.
Yeah, just like the Earth.
Right, cool. So for your daily dose of handsome black madness, please make sure you visit me on Facebook / The Handsome Black Man. I'm also on Twitter, THBM Men. As well as, right here on thehandsomeblackman.com to see the full interview with Elliott Hulse and so many other amazing handsome black men. You can visit thehandsomeblackman.com. I will make sure there are links all over the description box so you can find Elliott, so you can find me, so you can go all over the place and become more of a handsome black man. Thank you so much for being my date, Elliott.
My pleasure. It was great
Good,
being here, Lindsay.
good night.
Night.